Hello, I'm a nerd named Ryan, and we're doing a classic Doctor Who review for you today. Today we're going to be talking about the Pyramids of Mars, because of course we are. Sutekh is back in Doctor Who, so what better way to celebrate than by talking about his absolutely fantastic debut to the series back in 1975. This is widely regarded by a lot of Doctor Who fans, myself included, as one of the best stories in the classic era, and it's not hard to see why. You know, this was during the Philip Hinchcliffe era, where you had Hinchcliffe as the producer and Robert Holmes as script editor. And upon taking over from Barry Letts and Terence Dicks, who were great in their own right, Hinchcliffe and Holmes really sort of tended to focus more on the kind of drama, the dark humour, and the gothic horror side of Doctor Who. And there's a lot of gothic horror influence in this. This is very clearly influenced by the Boris Karloff Mummy movie from the 1930s. And there was also, you know, some Hammer horror influence in a lot of Hinchcliffe's era as well. But yeah, very much gothic horror vibes here with the mummies and with the robots that look like mummies, and with Sutekh himself. Just a really, really excellent story. Now this has Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen in it, of course, as the Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith. One of the best duos of the classic era. Those two were always phenomenal together, and they're great here. Tom Baker especially has a lot of different layers to his performance here. You know, I think a lot of people kind of now look at Tom Baker as the kind of wacky, eccentric Doctor, but there's a lot of really sort of dark and really dramatic parts to his performance here. He really shows the Doctor's darker side off, especially when he's kind of worrying about, you know, if Sutekh is released, he will destroy everything and everyone in his path. He'll destroy all life, all sentient life he can find will be gone. Love that. I love that Tom Baker, you know, plays that so seriously, plays that so straight, because it really kind of builds up the tension, and it really kind of puts across how dangerous of a villain Sutekh is. And yeah, when the Doctor is worried, and when the Doctor, specifically the Fourth Doctor, is worried about, you know, a threat and not kind of undermining it with jokes all the time, you know shit's about to get real. You know shit is serious when the Fourth Doctor is worrying a lot about what's happening. And yeah, Sutekh, even before we see Sutekh, he is built up so perfectly as this, you know, this monster, this unstoppable villain, this force of evil so powerful and so unlike anything the Doctor has ever faced before. They really, really built him up well with the, you know, the robots that look like mummies, and with, you know, the possessed scientist, the possessed archaeologist. You know, there's a lot of work to make Sutekh look great and powerful and scary before he's even revealed. We hear his voice before we see him. You know, a lot of Gabriel Wolf's performances in the voice. And Gabriel Wolf, by the way, is fantastic as Sutekh. Absolutely tremendous performance from him. I'm really glad, actually, that they got him back for the modern series to do the voice of Sutekh, because the voice absolutely makes him. And that is also a great sort of credit to Paddy Russell, the director of this serial, because in the behind-the-scenes documentary on this DVD, Philip Hinchcliffe says that, yeah, he wasn't really sure about casting Gabriel Wolf. He wanted a more kind of classically imposing voice, but it was really Paddy Russell's decision to cast Gabriel Wolf, and I think that was a terrific choice. Wolf is fantastic as Sutekh. Even after we see him, you know, he's just kind of sat in his chair looking imposing. The mask he has on, the helmet, the mask he has on is just absolutely amazing, really well designed. This whole story looks phenomenal. Like, for a BBC show from 1975, it looks phenomenal. The sets are great, the costumes wonderful. Even the special effects, I think, hold up pretty well for classic Who, it has to be said. But yeah, Sutekh looks great, his design is wonderful. Gabriel Wolf had a hard task, you know, you don't see his face, he can't really move until the final episode, until the final moments of the final episode, in fact. So, pretty much all of his menace is put across through his voice, but he does it so perfectly and so brilliantly. I think Sutekh is a force to be reckoned with, and a great character, not just from a performance and design standpoint, but from a writing standpoint as well. I forget the name of the writer who did the original draft of this. It's credited to Stephen Harris, but that is a pseudonym. They had another writer. I'll remember his name and then put it, somewhere on the screen. But he wrote an original draft. He was commissioned to write a mummy story by Hinchcliffe, and wrote something that, by all accounts, was apparently quite good, but something that they just couldn't do. And that original writer was unavailable to do rewrites, so they gave it to Robert Holmes. And I think, really, Robert Holmes is a fantastic writer and a great script editor, and he really, as much as we credit Philip Hinchcliffe for this era, and we should, because he was a fantastic producer, it was him working with Robert Holmes that really kind of helped shape this era of Doctor Who, this wonderful kind of dark gothic era that we got. From, arguably starting off in season 12 and then going through seasons 13 and 14, and even sort of carrying over a little bit to season 15 after Hinchcliffe left the show. That kind of gothic influence still stuck around a little bit. So yeah, it's a remarkable story. It's fantastic. I really like pretty much everything in this. The one thing that kind of, it's not even a negative, but it just kind of bothers me specifically, I really don't like Lawrence Scarman, who is the brother of Scarman, who gets possessed by Sutekh. He is a bit of an idiot. Like, I understand that he's grieving for his brother, I get that. That's all fine, I understand. But he is a bit of a twat. He constantly makes, really stupid decisions throughout this story. So, not really something that bothers me massively, but I don't know, I'm like, dude, come on. This is like the third time you've made this mistake. You've seen what Sutekh can do. You've seen what Sutekh can do. Why would you how do you continue messing up when you've seen what Sutekh is capable of? Just do what the Doctor's telling you, man. It's not hard. He clearly knows more about this situation than you. But yeah, Sutekh, phenomenal villain. I love that Sutekh pretty much almost wins as well. Like, it's only right at the last second, right at the last few moments, that the Doctor thinks of something like, oh, God, I have an idea, quick, let's go. And he has like 2 minutes to pull off this idea, and he just about gets it. It's tense, man. It gets you on the edge of your seat like that. Like, when I first saw this story, that final moment was very tense. I love that. Those final moments, they were really kind of tense, and I really, really liked it a lot. And that gothic horror influence means that we also get a lot of really unsettling and chilling atmosphere. I think the music is really good in this. Dudley Simpson, he really helps add to that kind of foreboding atmosphere of this story in particular, and the Philip Hinchcliffe era in general. So yeah, everything about Pyramids of Mars just really works well for me. I just really, really like the story a hell of a lot. Now, if you've never seen this story, it has been announced that this is going to be the new episode of Tales of the TARDIS. It's going to be airing this Thursday, at the time of recording, this coming Thursday, the 20th of June. And it's going to have, the linking footage at the beginning and the end with Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson, and then they're going to show the omnibus version of this in the middle. If you've never seen it, I'd say that's a pretty good way to start watching it. They'll throw it up on iPlayer as well after that. But if you want to just watch the story, without any of that, the DVD is pretty cheap nowadays, and it is on iPlayer just, in its original format. I would definitely recommend Pyramids of Mars, especially if you like when Doctor Who goes a bit more gothic horror. It's a fantastic story, and I love it. So yeah, Pyramids of Mars, one of my absolute favourite Tom Baker stories, and one of my favourite stories from classic Doctor Who in general. But let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. That's all I got for you today. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.